right? So we'll get at that with salmonella contamination. Um, some apricot juice and some tea, some ecstasy tea with black tea and green tea. The holy basil tea actually does fix this problem with the bends. Um, the bends or jet lag or what have you. Um, the holy basil actually grows like that, and then it's resistant like the double helix, of God and stuff like that. That's the double helix of nature, and that happens to be like the strongest. One of the strongest, most resistant plants, meaning it grows quickly. You can get the seeds. Um, I would actually just order the seeds and put seeds in your shake, the holy basil Tulsi seeds, because it's good for your skin. It's a flame retardant plant, and it's very medicinal, and it's also helping the body rid itself of toxins. I know this concept of seeds could be inflammatory. Um, depending on what type of seeds you're thinking about um, ingesting and stuff like that. Excuse me. Um, but it's neutral. You know what I'm saying? It's carbon neutral. I wouldn't just start eating weed seeds and stuff like that, but maybe make the tea and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So if you stress the seeds like that, then it still produces um, THC. So it needs to be germinated at a pretty steady temperature of at least humidity and 70 degrees. All right. The holy basil can pretty much grow whenever. You know what I'm saying? Peppermint is kind of like that. Um, I actually have. This is what I'm going to grow next. Is another batch of the California poppies. All right. These are sunset mixed colors, 525 milligrams, meaning it's dosed um, to actually be medicinal. All right, you know what I'm saying? So, patching that, sewing it, and patching it is what I'm referring to. All right, and that's just on a higher level of understanding here of like growing in the sun. The celandine poppies are really nice. They're probably the same as the California poppy. It's a yellow flower. And I just love the nectar out of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? But the holy basil is what I got a big bag of. It's tea. The holy basil grows like that, and it cures many, 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 many um, illnesses, especially blood circulation to the brain. All right, blood oxygen and blood circulation, and keeping the blood vessels from closing up. All right, so when it's hot, that's a gas giant. All right, you know what I'm saying? I'm a gas giant. All right, but I'm a gas giant with nitrogen and methane. You know what I'm saying? And then that is zinc. That is zinc and chromium. So if you are supplementing zinc and chromium, that's the flat surface. All right, if we put tons of pressure on that flat surface right there, that's zinc and chromium on the bones, and then that won't stick, and then it actually does come out of pressure. You know what I'm saying? So the same concept here is putting tons of pressure on that, and that's removing heat, trauma, shock, contact. The problems with people sharing things they shouldn't be sharing. You know what I'm saying? So I would really look into that because the holy basil is like really, really, really good for getting under the skin, and then poppy seeds and stuff like that. It's good for getting it under the skin and then getting the bad stuff out of the body. All right, so that's the study of the bread seed, which is what that is. This is the bread seed. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's couscous or poppy seed. You know what I'm saying? It's the same kind of concept going on here with understanding the bread seed. So things that would get inside the bread or inside the body and stuff like that, we would also want to be able to work it out of the body, because yeast can be not so great. Yeast can get really hot. Your body can have these reactions that can spread. All right, you know what I'm saying? These things are not going to go get inside your body and get really hot and make you faint. You know what I'm saying? And make you have a terrible reaction. So that's why medical orthodoxy is kind of iffy on the concept of calling something a narcotic. So when there's things coming from on their side of medical orthodoxy, um, that's not going to be good anymore. You know what I'm saying? It's not shelf stable. That's the half life of something, and the half life is getting weaker and weaker and weaker, and my half life is getting stronger and stronger and stronger, and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So understanding the concept of the bread seed, um, and what the chemistry is trying to do here. Well, that's napalm. You know what I'm saying? That's like a shiny napalm bomb in the sun. Um, like and it's in it would be coming from like a blitzkrieg tank. You know what I'm saying? And then I'm looking for something that's that shiny napalm bomb in the sun. That's going to be around trying to be causing that problem again and again, because it's part of my nature. All right, it's part of my chemistry. It's part of history. It's part of carbon dating. All right, and a blitzkrieg tank has to go to fucking hell. All right, you know what I'm saying? It is a rolling bones thing here, um, with the laws of God. All right, so that stuff was going on in the sun there, and it was tampering with God. All right, it was tampering with, all of existence, and being cruel. You know what I'm saying? That was a cruel, 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 inhumane, terrible, terrible, terrible place, um, for all of life's existence. All right, and it started with a lot of that. So we are, and we were forever banned from returning to work that out of there. And that's the sharp bone. That's the sharp collarbone that will, like, supposedly, eventually, with too much pressure, something like this would snap and break, and it would create the bends. You know what I'm saying? Like the blood circulation, if you drop your arms too fast or whatever, you don't have good circulation, you get woozy and going up and down and up and down. That's this concept of understanding that's a gas giant. Um, and anyways, the bones would just get really hot and accelerated, and then they start to rise. You know what I'm saying? And the bones get really hot and accelerated, and they start to rise. And then we're removing a seatbelt. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm like watching as I'm operating things. Um, is everything that's going on there. All right, and then things need to be able to pass by there, and everything that we're doing has to do with a flat surface. All right, so if um, they're running those things properly from a flat surface, then we won't actually have those problems. All right, and then eventually something would lose contact. It wouldn't function no more. Um, and then more stuff going on here with the theories of why Homeland Security and SWAT cameras and 144 hertz on a monitor is monitoring that, and stuff like that, because a blitzkrieg tank would keep you under it. You know what I'm saying? A bunch of stuff is going to be trying to keep you under